Okay, so I'm going to talk about my brand first. I have been working on this for the last week and a half, so it is quite, it's quite new. So I'm still developing it. Just for a heads up as well, I have been struggling with family issues, a lot of death and illness in my family the last 2 months. But I am trying my best to, catch up. So let's go to my brand name here. So I first of all went ahead and done name ideas. These were just things that came to my head straight away with memories, nostalgia, memory boxes, all that. And these were the names that came out the most to me, which was Relic, Pam, Tether, Memory, Fable, and Coda. And I went ahead and used all these different fonts, typefaces to see what one looked, the best. Somehow I landed on Memory. I love Japan, and Memory just means memory, but in Japanese, so it just made sense. It's very personal, which this project is. So I actually really like this Deep Pride font, which was a little bit strange because it does look kind of ugly in my opinion, but I wanted to make it my own. So what I done was, you can see here, I went ahead and showed the unedited version, and then I went and used the pen tool to create my own version. So I just wanted it to be like a font that was personally created by me. Not all, but little bits of it. And then the eye as well, you can see here as well. I also changed that, and I landed on this one, which I feel just runs very smooth and it looks really nice. I also didn't mind that one either, but I prefer this one. From this, I then went on Procreate, and I just tried different ways of how I could flow it together to make it feel together, like a connection. So I used this curve here with the M, and I felt this really worked. So then I went on to Figma and I just created it here, and I really liked the outcome of this. Let's go to color. So these are my Pinterest palettes. I have a huge board on Pinterest that I just gathered all these colours from. And then I moved on to old style vintage retro tones because I was looking at dementia at the beginning, or just older people, focusing on that as my target audience. But then this soon changed to 25 up because I just feel I don't want it just to be old people. I want it to be for everyone. So I was looking at Y2K colours, early 2000 nostalgia, even like Barbie, for instance, very bright, colourful tones. And I landed on these being my favourite colours. And then I linked them up with my type, my chosen brand type, which I think came out really well. I do like all of these, but this one seems to be really, grabbing my attention the most, and this one, so I'm not sure yet. Still having a little decision about this. This one is still in the works, so I just went ahead last week and created some little illustrations on Procreate, and I was looking at butterflies, forget-me-not flowers, home, togetherness, clouds, sparkles, stars, connection, just because I feel like that is the most relevant with my brand. From that, I then went here and created different iterations from my sketches. So I went ahead and used the pen tool and just some shapes to create different ideas that could work. This one here was the M for memory, and I just outlined it. And then I just grabbed some shapes and put them together just to see how that would look. And then this is the little house that I created. And then this is kind of just like a little 3D ball type of thing. I thought that looked quite nice as well. But I would like to get some forget-me-not flowers and put those in, which I'll be working on this week. So that's my brand basically. So I'm still developing it and it's still in the works. So I'm going to go ahead now and go to my user research. So this is what I really was working on in the beginning of my project. I went ahead and done the competitor analysis. I used all these competitors here. I do want to add a little bit more in. I just went through them, showed their unique features, advantages, disadvantages, and then this part I compared them all, similarities, learnings, opportunities and differences within all of the apps, and then that gave me a clear idea of what ones were more unique than others or what were very, similar. So then I went ahead and done an audit. So the audit is just me going through the apps or screenshots because some were quite difficult to get access to. They were blocked by sign in. So this one's an adoption agency, for instance, so you would have to be an adopter to use this, or a foster parent. I got some user feedback on Reddit, YouTube and the website, so this was quite useful. Some didn't have any feedback at all, or refuse, so I just had to use the screenshots I could find. This one was for dementia, and this one was also for dementia. This one was from 2014, and it was created for memory loss patients. So the buttons are quite big for accessibility needs, which I find interesting. And then this one is called Memory Box, and it was just quite boring, if I'm being honest. It was very Apple UI, but I did have a little go myself, some user testing on it, and it was very mid, to be honest. It didn't really do it for me, but I still went ahead and made little notes and observations. I'm also going to do the Inspired app, which Kyle suggested me to do last week, so I'm going to do that as well. Then if we go down here, these are my empathy maps from my user interviews. So I actually went ahead and done 3 user interviews. I'm going to do a 4th one. This was very straightforward because I just basically used the transcripts and put it into this template from FigJam, which made it a lot simpler and straightforward instead of going through and just, having to make it up, because I actually had the user's testimony, which was great. These are my user journey flows. I've only created 1 at the minute. I haven't even finished it, to be honest, so I'm still going ahead and doing that. This is just my printed area, which I'm going to print into my book. But this is the results from my user surveys that I done. I got 91 responses, which was great. But I'm just going through it here and showing my results and what mattered most to people, which was very interesting. I then done user interviews, which I was talking about a second ago, but this is just kind of the summary of it, and just to make it really simple and straightforward. Let's go into Notion now. So I've done my brand and I've done my discovery. These are my Notion blogs here. This was just the summary of my user interviews, and that's the one that I need to do. And user survey, this is just how I developed the questions, and then I posted it on Instagram, and then I'm just going ahead and showing all the results that I got here with the responses from everyone. Let me see. Then I created the user personas from the survey here, but these again are going to be not as relevant as I create the user interview personas. And that's the current market as well. I went ahead and used a table format here just to go through it and see each individual competitor, but that's exactly really the same as my FigJam. This part here is my project brief here, so I've got that, and then my project pitch as well, and the research exploring physical interactions, because I do want to create a physical product, whether I actually create it or not, or I just have like a mock version of what it could be. So I'm still gonna do that, as I do want it to be a interactive piece. So I have went ahead and done wireframes for my initial app. This probably took like 10 minutes, so it is quite messy. And this is just brainstormed, just what came down in my head. I didn't really like this as much because I felt like I was rushing it, as I didn't do my user journey or user flows. But I did go ahead and do the onboarding and a little bit of the home page wireframes, because I feel like this has been developed enough and I am confident with the onboarding. So I just went ahead and wrote little notes down on how it would look. And then this is the home page here. Again, just making little notes of what I would like mood pills, you know, tool tips and things like that here. Then I have continued the home, but I haven't finished it yet. So I'm going to be working on that this week and next week, and hopefully I can have my wireframes finished and I can go into Figma. You can go through and read my transcripts. I do have the Dovetail app open. It won't let me go in and actually view. It's like blocked by a paywall. I went here and just recorded the interviews using my camera, and I also used screen record for some other ones. This is just me going through it, the whole process here. So that was my first interview. This is my second interview. This one was very traumatic related, you know, very much like PTSD, losing everything from an eviction. So this was very interesting. And then this one was a first time mother whose baby was in the NICU unit, which was also very interesting. And that one was recorded in the gym, so you might hear a few dumbbells flying around. But anyway, that's the end of my little midpoint review. Still working through it, but I think I'll get there in the end. Thank you.